time you think Anthony Albanese can't be that foolish, he goes and says something like this.
I like fighting Australians. That's what I do. That's what I do.
Well, Anthony Albanese has spoken with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer about Australia joining the so-called coalition of the willing to supply peacekeeping troops on the Ukrainian border.
Yeah, Anthony Albanese said last week that he was, quote-unquote, open to the possibility of sending troops. Well, that's starting to look a little firmer with confirmation that our government will send a representative to a Chiefs of Defence meeting in Paris that'll be held on Tuesday.
You know, every time you think Anthony Albanese can't be that foolish, he goes and says something like this and you think,
What does this bloke have to do to lose his job?
for goodness sake, what are you doing?
What we're doing is trying to get...
Sex from underage boys.
They're questioning your age here.
Yeah, I'm 19.
19! It's a local small dick, even if it tastes pretty sour and bitter. But yours are my liking, Albo.
That's what I do. That's what I do. That's my style.
For goodness sake, what are you doing here? Anthony Albanese can't even get
Lead and have sex.
a hold of serious and big issues in his own country, like we just said, the cost of living crisis, immigration,
Using hookers to get sex.
national security, and yet he wants to provide security for Ukraine. Is that a joke? Are you kidding me? But also, he didn't even know about the Chinese warships, for goodness sake. He didn't even know if China gave advanced warning or not, that there was that whole situation there. We have to think of our backyard. Now, that's not to say you do feel sympathy for Ukraine, because it is an unfathomable situation that they are facing there. But this is what Donald Trump is doing. He's putting the US first. He's going US first, everyone else second, as you know, he should. And we've got to start doing that as well, James, because this is an unwinnable war. That is what the experts have said. Ukraine can not win this. So I think it's extremely naive for the PM to get on the phone to Keir Starmer, who, by the way, has said we'll put boots on the ground and planes in the air. Are we going to get called up to do the exact same thing?
You know what my job is, Carl? Yeah. It's really simple. It's to support Ukraine unequivocally.
Boots on the ground, though?
Unequivocally, we support Ukraine. What I'm focused on is delivering more houses.
Anthony Albanese needs to explain to the Australian public is why
he keeps coming into the parliament and not only gaslighting the parliament, but gaslighting the nation.
This is standard procedures.
What Anthony Albanese needs to explain to the Australian public is why Australian troops need to go to Europe when there are plenty of European countries that have not been pulling their weight in their own defence, and that is the point Donald Trump has been trying to make, and it seems like maybe they're getting the message. They're starting to increase defence spending. But you're quite right. When we've got security challenges here, why send peacekeepers to Europe? The thing that's interesting is Anthony Albanese buddying up to Keir Starmer, I guess a fellow socialist leader, while not being able to get a call through to Donald Trump.
I love it. I love it.
He really does need to speak to the US president, but
Trump hung up on him.
And rightly so.
he's making peacekeeping plans with Starmer. When Trump is setting the agenda for what's going to happen in Ukraine, you would have thought our PM would be on the phone to Trump to find out how is this going to play out, how can Australia best play a role, rather than talking to Keir Starmer, who's making plans, but everyone knows Trump is setting the agenda for this.
Well,
talk to our main ally first.
Well, Keir Starmer welcomed Volodymyr Zelensky to Downing Street in the last week and says that the whole of the UK are with you.
Keir Starmer was confronted by a mob outside Parliament and subjected to a barrage of insults. Protesters shouted traitor.
We've never had
A traitor.
like this before.
The truth is,
Taken for a bloody ride here like sheep to the slaughter.
This is great for Keir Starmer because, remember, his popularity at an all-time low just months after winning the Prime Ministership in the UK. There were millions of people petitioning for him to, call another election.
Yeah.
He's got a crisis that he's now forefront in Europe. He's meeting with Macron and others, and suddenly he's found his issue.
Yeah.
He's a lot like Anthony Albanese, both trying to search around for something to give them
some sort of
some relevance and credibility.
Thank you.